Hey guys, Eaton here, and this is my fall of 2021 wedding film gear. So all this started probably 2 years ago, collecting gear. I really didn't have a whole lot of money then, and even now, we're on a budget. We're not trying to, go crazy buying cinema cameras yet, even though that is the goal. I want to get an FX3 or Blackmagic 6K, like all those cameras would be awesome. Even the cameras we have now are great. So this video is really for those beginners to intermediate who are growing their wedding videography business. So I gotta go, first of all, right now we're filming on the Sony a7R III with the Sigma 16mm. Again, all the gear you can see here is all gonna be Sony. All my bodies are, at least, and then my lenses are mixed between Sony and Sigma. So again, we don't have the newest a7S III yet, but we're working on it. So I have two Sony a7R IIIs, so I can go and grab one right here. I love this camera. I shoot just my style of video. I shoot everything in 1080p at 120 frames per second. That's just my style. It's capable of shooting 4K 30. And then a lot of, when it's just people talking for speeches or anything like that, where there's not a whole lot of movement, I will switch it to 4K, especially in the ceremony. Well, I need that extra reach because a lot of my lenses are just primed. I don't have a whole lot of zoom lenses, just because the way we shoot, as you know, in a wedding, you can't really control a lot of the lighting, and you don't have a lot of time. Nothing's really planned, at least in how we do it here. Again, I'm over here in Alabama, so it might be a little bit different than people in California or New York, in those bigger cities, but we don't have a whole lot of planning time. It's very rushed, and so again, we take what we can. So that's why the Sonys with that low light beast, it's amazing to have this. But I shoot everything in 1080 120. As far as picture profiles, if people are wondering about that, I shoot a lot of Cine 4 or S-Log2, depending, but mostly Cine 4 just because I don't have a lot of control over my environment once again, and so even with that low light, switching everything around with that S-Log2, getting that banding on that grain, I really don't want that. So that Cine 4, right now I'm filming with Cine 4, it really helps me have that good range, but yet good quality, especially in that low light. So again, I have everything set up on my custom buttons. So if you have a Sony camera, you can see right here, right there, the custom buttons. I have number one set as 4K 24, and then number two is set as 1080p 120. I love it. This camera has great headphone jacks, and then some people say that Sony has good preamps. Yes and no. Like right now, I'm really having to turn it down just because the way Sony's custom menu system is, it sucks. It really does. But other than that, again, I have a cage on there. God, if you're doing weddings, I highly suggest getting a cage. Even if you have the FX3, like I would get a cage. I cannot tell you how many times I've dropped this or it's just fallen over for some reason, and it's saved my life, or my camera's life, really. But yeah, I love it. It's been a great camera. The battery life is awesome on here. I actually just ordered from Small Rig the continuous power with the Sony. We're gonna be able to start running some of these with that continuous power. That way, our second shooter or whoever at B-Cam, they won't have to change the batteries out a lot. Because in the summer here, it's really hot, and even in the winter, it drains the battery. So this is a great option to have. And the biggest thing, or as far as lenses go for this, let's just say this is my B-Cam. If this was my B-Cam, I'm running mostly I use the Viltrox 85mm. You can get this on Amazon. It's a great lens, really fast autofocus. Again, it's a budget lens. I think I spent under $400 on it. I can leave a link in the description. Great lens, great combination with this body. If I have some clips to show you, I'll show them right here on the screen now. But it's just a great combo, especially for those really tight places and you get that bokeh, that compression. It's a really great combination. I use this a lot with my B-Cam. So usually it's even, as far as filming goes, it's me or my wife or me and my assistant, or our second team. So how I usually set this up is I'll have a monopod. So everything's, because we're about to start packing for a wedding. We're shooting this on a Friday, but I have a monopod with a quick release at the top. And it has kind of like a fluid head, and it has the feet, and then it kind of telescopes out. This is great. I use this, again, for my second team a lot. What my combination that I love to do is, if you notice behind me here, is I have a bunch of gimbals. So most of the time, I'm running one of my cameras on here. The Sony a7R III usually is gonna be on this gimbal, and then I'll attach a monitor right here. And I use, I can grab it right here. Again, this is all budget stuff, right? So this is the Free World, or Fill World, I'm sorry. I believe it's a 7-inch monitor with the hood. I got a small rig clamp on there. And literally, now I'll show you a clip of this on the screen as well, but I'll just mount the monitor onto the gimbal with that Sony. That way I have really clean, floaty videos. I don't really like the kind of shakiness of just being like handheld. Even my wife noticed it, you know, on film. She's like, I can't pay attention enough, right? So I don't want to distract people with having shaky footage. So going next, the lens that I like to run with that gimbal combo with my Sony a7R III is gonna be the Sony 50mm. Again, great lens, cheap lens. I mean, if I can get the focus, I think it's like 150 bucks on Amazon. So not that bad. If I'm not running the 50 on there, I'll run the Sigma 30mm. And this is not the Art series, this is just the regular Sigma, a 1.4, amazing lens to have, especially when if you're running crop bodies. So other than these full frames that I have, because again, that full frame is amazing. We have several crop body Sony cameras. So like I have, and again, if you're just first starting out, my first camera ever was the Sony a6300. So for a beginner, if you can't step up yet to the full frame of the Sony, if it's just out of your budget, which I totally understand, Amazon was running a deal and I was able to finance it through Amazon for like $500 a month. So at the time it was a big stretch, but we made it, and you can definitely tell in the quality of our films have changed since having that full frame. But just starting out, that Sony a6300, great body to have. And then now they have the a6400 now and the a6600. Those are amazing. Other than the a6300 that we have, we also will run an a6500 and an a6000. So I only use these for, you know, back of the ceremony, or if I just need to get another angle. It's never my primary shot, just because, again, you don't have that 4K. The quality is a big difference between this and that. But if like I said, depending on your budget, starting out with a6000 is not bad. It's not terrible. It's a great camera, especially if you put a good lens on there. It's an amazing camera to have. Again, I started out with a6300. So recommendation, anywhere between a63, 64, 65, 66. They have the newer batteries as well. So those are great cameras to have. I really love the setup. Like I said, we run the a7R III on the Monopod, right, with the 85 usually, and then we'll run the other a7R III on the gimbal. And that's usually my primary, my gear, my loadout. And I'll show you on screen here kind of what it looks like having it all put together. Again, I love it. It's not super heavy. I'm able to get good, clean shots. I'm always nimble enough to get what I need to get. There is sometimes, whenever we're doing, I guess you'd say, hero shots, where I'm not able to do kind of a smooth up and down, just because we run the, this is the Zion Crane Plus, I guess is this one. We actually have another one that's laying behind me. We have a Zion Crane, I guess regular one. And then over here is the Moza Air. We use it for our second team. It has a higher payload than this one. And it was my favorite one, but this one, I don't know, I've kind of fell in love with it. I love having these bars right here. And then I also like bought these feet off Amazon. I can leave a link in those as well. It's just awesome to have. I'm able to like sit it down on the ground or on a desk or something. It's great to have, really is. What I can do is I'll put the gear on here real quick and I'll show you what it looks like. This is my basic loadout for a wedding. Obviously I don't have a battery right here on the monitor, but like I said, I got the A7R3 with the 50mm, got my handlebars, and this is pretty much, I kind of like rest it here on my stomach. I'm kind of a big guy, so kind of sits right there, and if I'm just chilling, I'm just kind of like this, you know? I'm able to get the shots I need. I can be super smooth. This is very lightweight. Again, you can just do it one-handed. I love it. I'm able to get super smooth shots, whatever I need. And then like, if I'm by myself and I don't have an assistant, I can literally control this with my phone and get shots. I can lay it down, know it's smooth, and I can go over to this monopod with another camera. Before I had this set up, I actually had another monopod attached right here. And so basically it would just sit on top of a monopod and I would just stand there. If I have any pictures, I'll show you here on the screen how it first was. But I really love this kind of loadout for a wedding. I know it's a lot, or it looks like it's a lot, but really it's not. And then in the reception, sometimes if you notice here, I have a kind of a thread mount here, so I can mount a light. And I have these smaller lights. You can get them on Amazon CN160s, I think. Yes. Yeah, see the newer CN160s, and I'll just mount it right there on the gimbal if I need more light. But we'll get into light later. So this is my basic setup. Again, Sony A7R3, hopefully gonna change it out eventually with the A7S III or the FX3, whichever one, you know, the budget allows. This is the Filworld 7-inch monitor. Again, we might switch that up with the Ninja 5 or the Ninja V, whatever you want to call it, so I can get that ProRes RAW, you know, everybody's talking about. So, but this is my basic setup for my primary camera for weddings. Other than that, we run, again, the monopod. So let me give you a show kind of how the monopod setup looks, and I'll be right back. So again, I failed to mention this, but we use quick release plates on all of our equipment. So this is, I don't even know what plate this is. It's on Amazon, it's a really cheap one. I actually do not recommend this brand of plate. It's so small, as you can see right here on the body. And so when it's on a tripod and stuff, like that's all you have, and it's very flimsy. And then this is the plate at the top that kind of goes in, it kind of locks in there. And then we have this on all of our stuff though, so that's what we're currently using. But I think I'm gonna switch to, you know, one of the small rig or the Arca Swiss quick release plates. So just to give you an example here, I'm gonna get this monopod up a little bit higher so you can see. Again, it telescopes out, so it's super great to have. Lower it down. So the monopod again has its own kind of quick release. And we'll just kind of go through there, if I can get on there right. So this is the monopod with the quick release, and then kind of tighten it down right here on the side. Then I'll put the brand of monopod on the in the link in the description. It's kind of a knockoff version of, like, I don't know, a really good one, I guess you would say. Kind of like the Manfrotto stand that this is on. But this is a knockoff version. And then again, I'll take the 50 off, and I'm gonna put the 85 on. Super easy to do. There you go, 85 on. And that's basically how the secondary setup. Again, I have this on backwards now. But, you know, we got the monopod, we got the hand holder, we got the 85 on, A7R3. Again, just a great camera, great setup. I love this as my secondary camera, my B cam. And even if I, you know, eventually once we get the A7S III or FX3, we'll still keep this as a B cam. And this setup, again, is just, it's awesome to have. Very quick and easy to use. And then once we get that, you know, continuous power in from small rig, we're gonna have kind of a different setup for this, but this works out great. So that's about it as far as camera bodies and lenses. Again, some of the other lenses we have that are awesome that I didn't mention is the f4 18-105 G Master, see if you can see that. Great lens starting out, I loved it. I was able to cover a lot of space with this, especially when you're shooting in 4K, but for those low light ceremonies and stuff, it really, it's hard because you're really pressing the ISO. Even with the Sony, I'm looking at 4,000 ISO sometimes, depending on the scenario. So it's really great to have. I wouldn't give it up. If you have a Sony, get this in your kit. It's good. Other than primes, I mean, gotta have primes. 50, 30, 85. Those are the best lenses you can have. Everything else behind me is just kit lenses. Again, I'm too cheap to buy a macro lens, which that's just me and me. But I have these macro tubes. See if it will focus on that. These macro tubes, they're awesome to have. Again, for weddings, I use a macro shot, one shot for the rings and details in the beginning of the day, and that's it. So, and then we also have, which I use this more for real estate than I do anything. This is a Rokinon 12mm. That's a prime as well. It's a great lens, manual lens, but that's on the camera right here is I use the 16mm from Sigma, which I think after the crop and everything, it's closer to 20 or 25mm. But so it's a great lens as well. So now we've kind of covered the bodies. Again, we're running A7R3s, A65, 63, and the A6000s. Great combos to have. Again, if you're just starting out, other than the A7R3, all of these cameras are under $1,000, and they're great to have. I mean, again, I started out with the A6300, and I believe it was a 50, or even no, before then I had just a kit lens. So if I have a picture of that too, I'll show that on screen as well, because that's how it all started for me. And now 2 years later, we're doing 50 plus weddings a year. I think last year in 2020, we did 62 weddings, which is crazy. It's 52 weeks in a year. So super proud of ourselves, but it was a lot. So now I'm gonna kind of get into audio gear. As far as microphones and stuff, I do have a wireless Lab that I'm running right now to the camera. I don't use it a whole lot just because of weddings. Other than like speeches, toasts, or letter readings, I don't use a whole lot of audio. I do run like this Rode Video Mic, the Video Mic Go, I believe, micro. It's a great little recorder. And then I also have like an off-brand. I use it in my office now for my computer, but that's all you basically need. I kind of just put it right on top of the camera, and that's kind of how it looks if we use it. We don't run a whole lot of audio, so that we don't use it that much. Recorders, we do run lavs on everybody, so we'll grab that. These things are my favorite little recorders. These little Sony recorders, again, sticking with the brands, if you can get in focus. These Sony recorders are awesome. You just throw a lav in the top, if it will focus. And then you have a little headphone jack as well, so that way you can monitor it out. Other than that, classic wedding recorder, Zoom H1. Again, if it will just focus right there. Saved my life so many times. These recorders, again, I have one for the board, I have one for the groom and the minister. And then I have some other like older recorders I'll put on the soundboard as well, or like just attached to a speaker. And then how we do that, let me get my audio bag. This is all pretty simple, but this is, my first cord, this is a big jumble. This is very unorganized. So we have if you can, I don't know if you can see it there. Yeah, an XLR to that 3.5 jack. And I have another one, this one's kind of messed up in the end, but I have another one just like it because I run 2 teams. But running this into the top of this, just like that. There we go. Now I'm getting that clean XLR feed, from the speaker or the soundboard. It's really great to have, especially as a backup. I can't tell you how many times the DJ stuff is messed up, or my stuff's messed up, and I've always have 1 to 3 copies of an audio, because you just never know what's gonna happen. As far as lavs go, again, I'm not a big sound person, but I bought those labs that you have to have like an adapter with, which I think I have one as well. So again, as far as labs go, I've looked on Amazon. I bought the ones that require an adapter. So kind of like this, if you can see, was it the TRS cable? I believe is what it's called. And I have these. You buy them in a pack for like 20 bucks. You get like 2 or 3 of them. I cannot trust them because of this little adapter. I can't tell you how many times brides or ministers have messed with this thing right here, and it's came undone, and then my audio was, you know, crap. But so, again, sticking with the name brand, this little Sony Lab that I have here, if I can show it on the screen, it'll focus, has saved my life, and it's kind of got 2 microphones there on either side. Again, I just plug it right in, and it works great. If it will save, never fails. This right here, I just clip it on them, and the cool thing with the miniature is I'm able to get left and right audio with that. It will save or focus, so I can get the bride and the groom with just this one mic. If I had to pick one thing, like if you had to have something, I would get a recorder. It doesn't have to be the Sony one, but I love it. And then a lab like this with the 2 mics on there, it has definitely saved my butt so many times. So, and then as far as anything else, cable wise, is these right here. Your left and right audio channels into the headphone jack, same thing. Again, I just run it right into the recorder, just like that. And that's my audio, right out of the board. So that's been awesome. And that's about it as far as audio gear. I don't have, you know, what is it, like the H4n. I don't have anything special like that. Again, I'm a beginner to intermediate myself. I've been doing this for 2 years. I think we've done right around 100 and something weddings. So I don't have everything in the world. I'm not rich, I don't have expensive gear by any means, but this is what we're using that works. Now we'll get into lighting, which is basically the last thing. As far as lighting goes, again, I have several of these newer CN160 lights. I think I have 6 or 7 of them. And they have little filters you can put on them. If you see behind me back here, that has a red gel on it. These things are awesome, and they take, this is my favorite thing about them, okay? Not only can they take, you know, AA batteries right there, but they can also take these Sony, like these big Sony batteries, MP, what are these? These are the MP F960s, 970s, if that will focus. Great. And I just kind of pop them in, just like that. See, it's in there. It's got a little controller on the side. These batteries are like, I don't know, 20, 30 bucks. And there we go. See the light here. So these are great to have, especially as a beginner. They have a little thread right there, so you can screw in, like I screw mine into my gimbal sometimes, and then they also have a cold shoe mount, and you can lock it and unlock it, and kind of where you can bend it and stuff. These just go on standard light stands, so I can grab one here, just like this, and then you just kind of screw it on there, just like that, and they're great. People, at weddings, people are drunk or partying, having a good time. If these fall, I do not cry about it. It doesn't. It's not gonna bother me a bit. It sucks, but it's not, a $300 lot, $400 lot that's breaking. And it's awesome to have at a wedding because I can just throw these in my bag. Don't really have to worry about taking care of them as much because they're such cheap lights, but they put off such great light, really. Other than that, I just upgraded my lighting package. If I can, let's see if I can grab one right here. I'm kind of using it as for this ambiance of the room. And I'll put the model number and stuff on the screen, but these are awesome. You can change the color temperature, change the brightness. If you notice here as well, they take the Sony MPF batteries again, so really nice to have. I had to film a wedding in the forest the other day, and all they had was twinkle lights, and I had these. So I was able to light up the entire dance floor, you know, cutting the cake and everything. So that has definitely been awesome. And that's basically all the gear other than my drone. I'd run the Mavic Air 2. Again, super simple and easy to have. Packs up super small. That way I'm not having to carry a bunch of gear. I also have the Phantom 3 when I first started out. Again, if you're on a budget, I mean, finding an older drone like that Phantom 3 or Phantom 4 on Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist or something, eBay, that's a great alternative. These right here with the Fly More package, I think we're only like, I don't know, $1,100 or something. So, and they're probably even cheaper now to date. So look at one of these, super easy. It shoots 4K 60, great quality photo, really easy to put up in the air. But I do highly recommend the Fly More combo. Getting those extra batteries is gonna help you out a whole lot. Again, I believe that's all our gear for our for our weddings, other than our computers and our ingesting process, which I'll make another video about it, because there's nothing more scary than knowing, is that footage copied over before you format a card? So we deal with that in a completely different way. So I can kind of show you that in the next video, but that's basically it. Again, guys, if you have any questions about our gear, anything like that, how we use it, why we use it, our setup, I'm gonna leave links in the description if I can for all the gear, that way you can check it out. But thanks again, guys, for watching, and hopefully we'll come out with some more cool wedding videos for you. So see you guys, my name's Eaton.